Hi there. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Albert Hairbrain, more like shit for brains, am I right? Has started to testify against us in favor of his general hypothesis, and that's not very cool considering.
Hold it!
We gotta press and try and, I don't know, get more information from him. And yet your retort to my argument wasn't lacking in confidence in any way. No scientist can find the truth without first finding self-belief. Those are the words of a certain scientist I hold in the very highest esteem. Who is that? But you realize that disproving my argument puts you in a very precarious position, don't you? No scientist should strive to protect himself more than he strives to protect the truth. More words of the same great scientist, you know. Words that are causing me a lot of trouble. Who is this scientist? I'm afraid I couldn't tell you, Mr. Naruhodo. But as soon as I remember the magnificent genius's name, you'll be the first to know. Well, indeed, now I'm curious who that scientist might be. That sounds like it would be like a real person, but I don't know. It might be worth keeping the names of your idols in mind. You're wasting your breath, my learned friend. This scatterbrain even forgets my name at times. So Lord Van Zykes really did have a friend once. But I didn't notice hell freezing over. Yeah, fucking roast his ass. Holy shit. Even Naruhodo can't believe, that he would fucking, you know, have a friend at some point in life. Come on, man. Let's see. Well, anyway. My hypothesis states that Kinesis cannot transport metal, though, hence the metal weapon would have stayed put.
Hold it!
Okay. Care to elaborate? Maybe your hypothesis was, stupid and wrong. Let's see. The hypothesis states it. So is it proven then? No, of course not. It's merely a hypothesis, but a good one, based upon thousands of calculations. But it is widely known that metals can't be decomposed by electrolysis. Yes, so of course, I am right. My hypothesis is clearly correct. What is it about incriminating himself that makes this man so happy? It's the whole reason the birdcage is made of wood, you see. Sorry, the birdcage? Yes, that's what I call the C. obtusa cage in which Mr. Assman was placed for the Kinesis. Yeah, it just kind of looks like a birdcage, I suppose. A jail cell in which the victim was detained. It does indeed seem to be made of a timber of some sort. I'll thank you not to refer to it as an instrument of, incarceration, your lordship. In short, any weapon lodged in the victim when he was beamed away by instantaneous kinesis would have been left behind on the stage if it was made of metal. Correct. Yes, that's it. Yes. It all fits within the mathematical model. But the ultimate conclusion, then, is that the defendant alone had the opportunity to inflict this fatal injury on the victim. Is it not? Ah, indeed, sir. Someone beat me out of this nightmare, for God's sake, my dude. Come on, man. In other words, the point raised by Mr. Naruhodo isn't an inconsistency at all.
Hold it!
Okay, well, you seem to be pleased by that. Yes, another example of my hypothesis holding true. You and your fucking hypothesis. That's just not even a theory, man. It's just a fucking hypothesis. I wouldn't be so confident about yourself. But I sense some sarcasm, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you not pleased? No, I'm not. I'm quite displeased, you might say. Slightly irate, a little furious, but I don't know. At the same time, I feel a strange sense of pity at the same time. Yeah, I knew it. At the end of the day, I'm the one responsible for Mr. Assman losing his life. The advancement of science is no excuse. I know that. No, you're quite right. Lord, did you have a close relationship with Mr. Assman? Oh, well, no, not really. I mean, I'd only met him 2 or 3 times. I only ever discussed my hypothesis, and the project, and the research grant, of course. Mr. Assman was the patron of my research. Without him, my work wouldn't have been possible. How did you come to know Mr. Assman in the first place? Oh, hey, look, that little tiny book. A year ago now, a small provincial science journal published a little paper about my work. You're not kidding, it really is a little paper. That's a scientific journal? What precious and pleasant new spectacles, Ugh. I might have had an extraordinary hypothesis and great promise, but at the time I had no money. I had to eat tiny little meals at a tiny little cafe and drink watered-down water out of a tiny little glass. But Mr. Assman read the paper and came to visit me at my tiny little laboratory. And offered you money to help fund your work. Exactly. That's exactly what happened. I handled the theoretical side of things, and Mr. Assman provided me with an engineer for the practical. And the 3 of us produced that fantastic machine together. The machine that you brought to the Great Exhibition to demonstrate. We had to apply to the government for some sort of inspection to be allowed to exhibit, I think. I didn't understand all that side of things. Mr. Assman took care of all of it. He was a wonderful man. Really, I owe him everything. Now I have a duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together.
Hold it!
Okay, fair enough. Also, you have to forgive me if it picks up the rain. It's raining pretty hard outside right now. I don't know if it's coming through on the audio, but hopefully it's not too distracting. Anyway, when you say that you built the machine together, does that mean that you're involved in its construction? Yes. Well, not exactly. I mean, make up your fucking mind, please. I'm not good with the practical side of machines myself, so the physical construction was done by an engineer. Little remains of your creation now, though. Following the explosion, repair will no doubt be impossible. Yes, I realize that. But still, if someone were to gather all the broken parts, they could discover the secret to my hypothesis. Mr. Assman and I toiled over that machine for so long. We put our hearts and souls into it. I have to protect our work. So what's left of the machine must... Why it does that sometimes. So what's left of the machine must be kept safe. That's only fair. Because what happened was an accident. That's the extent of the testimony then. Thank goodness for that. I don't want him doing any more damage. He's already basically proven that he could have been the culprit. But it seems as though all he really cares about is defending his hypothesis. Still, I wonder... what if his hypothesis is just fundamentally flawed? Just complete bullshit from the ground up? I mean, that seemed as logical as anything else. But also, I don't know if I had the evidence to prove that exactly, but... I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so the main gist of it is that the weapon wouldn't have been transported because the Kinesis cannot transport metal. So I need to prove why that's not the case, I suppose. These two statements seem... I don't know, they don't seem like I would present evidence here. Like, I don't think I can really contradict that he wasn't, or I don't think I can prove that Assman wasn't the patron of his research. And I don't think I can prove that he doesn't have a duty, so I feel like you can cross those off. In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Naruhodo isn't inconsistent at all. I mean, it could be that. But I don't know who exactly we would be expected to present there, because it's not very specific. And this is just him saying he's still just gathering data. And then this is like the clear, like, out of all the statements, this is like the most important one, I think. So is there some way we can refute this, I wonder? Okay, so the cage thing was made out of wood. And we can prove that by looking at the photo. And the straps are like leather and wood and stuff. Oh, wait, no. Wait, I was gonna say, oh wait, his glasses got transported, but I'm pretty sure those were still made out of glass at the time, and glass isn't metal, so I'm not sure about that one. Heck, I don't know. Is this a metal thing? I think it's just a button, but I mean, I could be wrong. It's quite curious. Quite curious indeed. I mean, it's still not that much evidence to actually parse through, but like, I'm still not immediately sure. Sharp implement. Maybe we should try to prove that it was something besides the weapon that killed him. Or stabbed him otherwise. I don't think this is relevant. Necessarily. Because, I mean, I pressed everything, and I didn't get any new evidence or new statements or anything. Man, this is one of those examples where I'm kind of stumped. I guess this canvas-like material was found on the experimentation stage. There's scorch marks at the edges. I don't think there's anything metallic there. There's this crossbow that was found under the experimentation stage. There's the screwdriver, which we presented before. And then this photograph. This is like presumably the glass from the Great Exhibition, or you know, the Crystal Tower to be exact. When he fell through, right? So that's... I I don't know why it wants to fucking act like that. Stupid fucking headset. Stupid microphone. Well, anyway. What about, is that metal? Okay, I'm gonna just throw out the photo and assume, because, like, this part is probably metallic. Like, the rim and the... Well, it doesn't really have the frame. It's more like a little metal thing, but that looks metallic, right? I don't know. We'll throw it out there, man.
Objection!
Yeah, that makes some kind of sense, I suppose. Oh well. Good. Glad I didn't lose any more health, because I was already kind of taking a while, and I already kind of fucked up on that last exchange, which still doesn't entirely make sense to me. That's definitely one of the instances where I could have presented, like, both pieces should have worked. Oh, I forgot to read the first part. Professor Hairbrain, you say that according to your hypothesis, nothing made of metal can be beamed by instantaneous kinesis using the machine that you made. Is that right? Ah, yes, that's right. Spot on! Exactly correct. In that case, I'd ask you to have a look at this photograph that was taken at the scene. In particular, I'd like you to pay attention to the victim's face. You can clearly see that Mr. Assman is wearing a pair of spectacles with a metal rim. What? Metal? No! Metal can't... Metal... No! Fuck! We've already established that the proposed murder weapon, the screwdriver, was found on stage. However, if your hypothesis can correctly predicted that outcome, it should also have predicted that the metal-rimmed spectacles would be found in the same place. Ah! My hypothesis! My hypothesis! Professor Hairbrain, this isn't easy for me to say, but your hypothesis is clearly flawed. Order! 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 If, on the day in question, the alleged instantaneous kinesis never actually took place, it is entirely possible that the victim was killed somewhere other than on the stage. And in that case, someone other than the defendant could have been the culprit. But my hypothesis is sound. I proved it that day. The experiment was a success. The experiment was proof of all my work. If I could say something here in my capacity as a fellow of the Royal Society... yes, word number 4. Go ahead. As a man of science, there's one thing I simply cannot abide. As a fraud who pretends to be a fellow man of science. What? Wait, great Scott! Are you suggesting my science is suspect? It's just been disproved, hasn't it? In front of all of us. In other words, the whole demonstration was a complete nonsense from start to finish. Believe me, my fellow jurors, when I tell you that this man is a heel, a bounder, and a fraud. And frankly, he smells bad as well. I say, the wreckage of that machine should be stripped down and thoroughly examined. No, never. The machine is the essence of my entire hypothesis. It's protected by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. What the devil is that blasted act all about, eh? Who made up such a daft rule? I don't like the way this seems to be going. What's the best way for me to help the professor? I don't know, raise an objection, I guess?
Objection!
Objection! I don't like your tone, Mr. Juror Guy. Professor Hairbrain has yet to perfect his invention. That would seem to be the case, yes. But even so... Even so, what? Going to such trouble and expense to create a fake machine to display in public. He would have absolutely no reason to do such a thing. He had an obvious reason to do exactly that. For the research grant money. If the government was foolish enough to have deemed that man's ridiculous notion plausible, he and his conspirators would have received a handsome sum indeed. Conspirators? Conspirators? What would be the value of such a grant? £10? You're an order of magnitude out, madame. £500 a year. Man, £500, that's a hefty chunk of change, I'm guessing. Oh, right! You can live handsome on that much for years. The Society has noticed an increase in bogus public demonstrations in the field of science recently, and plenty of scientists arguing with each other to get the largest slice of the funding cake. Oh, I like how and it's kind of nice watching him pour different liquids into different things. He's got like tubes and beakers and such. People's greed is plenty motive enough for murder, I assure you. No, no, no! I haven't deceived anyone! Least of all the government! My hypothesis is sound! The science is sound! Please, you must believe me!
Objection.
No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower. Which means that the experiment was a success. Baroque. And therefore, the only person who could possibly have committed this murder is the accused. Baroque. Where's this heading? I have no idea. My lord, if I may. Yes, Lord Van Zykes. The prosecution would like to summon new witnesses to the stand. New witnesses? What would be the nature of their involvement? Bah! They were spectators of the demonstration at the court at the exhibition, who were occupying special seats. Eyewitnesses? Very well, the court grants the prosecution's request. I should very much like to hear from eyewitnesses of the incident. The prosecution's stance is clear. This experiment was no pastiche. The accused killed the financier victim there on the public stage before the very eyes of the spectators. Now, my learned friend. Yeah? It's time for you to make your own stance clear. There's clearly a flaw in Professor's hypothesis. I can definitely see that. But where does that leave me? We shall take a short recess now, during which time the prosecution will prepare its new witnesses to take the stand. As you wish, my lord. Good. In that case, court is adjourned for 20 minutes. Alright, a nice 20-minute break from the proceedings. And that's part 1 of the trial done. Not bad. Not bad work at all. Though it's funny that we went that, like, first Barak was like, oh, he totally would have done it for the science grant money. Well, no, I guess, well, no. But yeah, it seems weird he's still clinging on to the idea that it was a success. I feel like we're going to have to disprove definitively that there was another way for old ass man to get transported somewhere else, you know? Wait, no, it's still technically trial part 1, apparently. Jeez. Well, I could end right here, but this is just a little short as is. At the very least, we can see... We can wait till we get back into court, maybe. Oh, hey, Albert, how's it hanging out? How's it hanging, bro? Mr. Naruhodo! What on earth were you playing at just now? Or rather, what on earth were you playing at all along? My hypothesis! My amazing hypothesis! You've been picking holes in it from the start, my man! Sorry about that. But you promised me! You You said you proved that dratted explosion was an accident, not murder. You said you'd keep my precious invention from falling into anyone else's hands. But all you've done so far is try to undermine me. Okay, well, before we talk about undermining, Mr. Professor, Dr. Hairbrain, Sir, the only person who's undermining you is yourself with your fucking testifying, your shitty testimonies. And besides, we can still prove that what happened was an accident. Even if your experiment didn't technically work, you know, on this instance, you know, it doesn't mean that you meant for it to explode and kill the guy. Like, these aren't mutually exclusive ideas. Yes, I did make you a promise. You're right. I said that I'd believe in you and fight for your freedom to the very end. But I also told you I was no scientist. I don't understand your hypothesis. And they're fucking making me say hypothesis like 800 times during this episode. And I don't know, hypothesis is just, I don't know, it's one of those words I tend to like stumble over a bit. Hypothesis. I don't know, the tongue just kind of glosses over it. The fact is, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there? Ah, but if I just run through some equations, yes, you see, it's because my work is incomplete. Perhaps it is. Nevertheless, a man died as a consequence, didn't he? Oh. Oh, no! No. You're right. You're so right. It's all my fault. I have no right to blame you for my failures. I'm a disaster. Not just as a scientist, but as a human being. Jeez, you fucking change moods pretty quickly, don't you? Well, that might be a little over the top. And while upon the subject, also meant to me just got kind of sad and gloomy. What about Barrick? He's being awful. Well, that's just Barack for you, man. I can't, you know, tell you otherwise, you know? Like, I mean, again, I can justify myself, but I can't speak for Barack, man. He's just a dick. And you're not even fucking Japanese, and he's still being a dick. So maybe he's just a dick in general, but only extremely towards the, you know, the Japanese. Claiming his old friend, university friend, to be a murderer, you mean? He's a disaster! Not just as a prosecutor, but as a human being! Okay, you might be onto something there. Oh, but no. Wait, he's a Reaper, isn't he? Perhaps he's not classified as Homo sapiens anymore! Glad that's cleared up. You just, like, fucking, like, take a moment and just, like, breathe, my dude? Can I double check something with you? Ah, yes? What? The machine and demonstration you prepared, they were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume. There was no trickery involved. I drew the plans for the machine with my very own hands. Every line was painstakingly drawn with a firm belief that science is the only future. So yes, it's true that my hypothesis hasn't reached maturity yet. But please, Mr. Naruhodo, you must believe in it. All right, Professor. I understand. Counsel, defendant. The prosecution witnesses are ready to take the stand. Court is about to be in session again. Make your way into the courtroom, if you please. Huh. What if I don't please? What about what then, pal? It all hinges on that demonstration. If the professor's hypothesis is sound, as he claims, it leaves him as the only person who could possibly have killed the victim. But on the other hand, Mr. Sholmes was adamant. Yeah, he was like, yeah, no, that's bullshit, my dude. It's complete bullshit. A practical implementation such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition is quite impossible. So really, what should I be trying to prove here? I don't think it's that... Dude, just... Look, it's not that hard, realistically, right? Just say... You know, it didn't work out, but, like... The thing exploding was not part of the plan, you know? Maybe he was sabotaged, you know? Like, it might just be that his hypothesis makes some basic sense. It just didn't pan out this one time, you know? I don't think you have to, like, choose sides, exactly. But then again, it might just be better, you know, it might be better to just pull the Band-Aid off and completely prove it as bunkum and whatnot. Well, here we are back in court again. Back together. Let's see. I mean, I kind of want to see the new witnesses, but I guess we can leave things off for here. You know, at least that way we won't have to, like, start... Yeah, I don't want the episodes to run too long, you know, and, you know, we'll be able to dedicate more time to their testimony and stuff in the next episode, you know? God, I keep saying you know a lot, you know? But yeah, at least we have hopefully shaken Hairbrain of his desire to testify against himself, if nothing else. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly how we're going to go about it, but I guess we just had to prove that there's some other method that he was transported, you know? I do it again. Whatever. That's probably this episode before I ramble anymore. We'll keep going, keep on trucking like we like to do. But until the next episode, I'll see you around.